Hi everybody. My name is Hidemi Takagi. I just want to say thank you so much for coming today, and welcome to my home studio. And you probably find why I'm saying home studio after you see my work. And okay, so since our time is very limited, so some of you are familiar with my work and some are not. So I would like to go through my three previous work in past 5 years I done. And also they are all social engagement project. I work with people and I'm gonna start showing some work. So I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna start with the Best Eye Social Photo Club. This is a recent, most current project I done in past 5 years. So, by the way, I live in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and historically home to African American and Caribbeans, and many. But it's a gentrifying neighborhood. But I realized that many of my neighbors are born and raised in this tight knit community, working class community, and I started to be friends with them. They're very wonderful people, and I always wanted to work with them. So I tried to figure out like how to work with them, and I actually came across this idea. I have outdoor photo studio in my front yard. I don't own this place. I live in this building. I use the front space, tube space to did an outdoor photo shoot. So I'm gonna play and it shows some work. So basically I had all different kind of photo background. Also, I collect some interesting props that people can pick and wear so they can dress up and take a photograph. So I didn't have any like official invitation. I put up some flyer on the street and I told a couple of people who I knew already, and I just invite them. We did a message on the with a chalk on the floor. So basically, like we have a like just a passenger just passed by, and then they started to ask me what I was doing, and I explained I'm doing a photo shoot and I'm working for the community, so everybody's welcome. So everybody can join and have a fun. And I put the photo studio face to the sidewalk so everybody could see. And everybody kind of feel like it was easy to join because I welcomed them. I spoke to them, or just, people started to make a line. So there was no issue that I get people to come in, because once like they have a like very long line and they sign up, because I asked copyright paper to sign it, and everybody just started to sit and wait and then put a signature on it, and they started to pick props and they started dress up and taking photographs. So everything was pretty smooth. And I did this 2018 couple times, and 2019 also outside of Stu at the break twice. And I think I took a picture total over 80 people. So sometimes it's family, sometimes some people came back twice, and it was just so much fun. It's like a block party. Some people actually brought a drink and a snack. Also, I prepare some snack, and everybody just come and have a party. And it was so much fun. So at the end, I created installation using those photographs. I wanted to create something like a monument, and it's pretty huge. I did this for a culture push exhibition because I was in their fellowship, and this was the final piece. Actually, a culture push actually helped me to start up this project. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And this came out like this. So it's a bunch of photograph in the back, and then the front part, it's actually photo setting, like photos backdrop stands. And I had a bunch of props that I used uh, before. And this is a little detail, like a little instruments. People like to pretend like they playing instruments and the hats and the sunglasses. Um, so it was just like super fun stuff. I just put together and I did like a little neighborhood monument there. So yeah, it was like this was yeah my idea. And barbershops. So I photographed the neighborhood institutions of barbershop that central life in Crown Heights and Vista where I live. For me, it was very unknown place because I'm female and it's basically like a male culture to me because I had no reason to step in. So I was always curious because there are so many institutions in this neighborhood, but I had no chance, and I started to be thinking maybe I should do a project. And day by day, I see those places are disappearing because of gentrification. So before they stop, such a beautiful culture. I wanted to see inside. So I actually spoke to three different barbershops. They are on the same street, and the three places are all different type. Like some places old school, some places a little more high end, but it's not super high end, not um, like a current place. It's just a young staff and the more younger, customers. So basically, I stay at each barber shop like a half day, and I visited 3 days, and I was able to capture some moments, customers and barbers. Also, sometimes some interior, and I created a photo collage at the end because it's so like interesting because it's such a like show. Uh, it's very interesting because each shop has a different character, and some places display photograph of like historical because he's a black owner, young owner, and he displayed his grandfather's picture along with Obama, like any and each places has a very interesting character. Like it's very such a male word that very like so much like a tattooing on the arm, and they use a blade directly onto people's head. It's really like seems very scary, but it's like arts. Like I try to capture their artistry and style of barbers did. So it was like my mini residency for myself, and people are so friendly. Nobody say no because every person who worked in a shop, I always had a permission that I'm doing this project, and if they don't mind, to be in a picture, 99% said like it's fine, totally cool. So it was a beautiful experience, and but unfortunately, two of them are closed down within 1 year after I did this project. I did it like at the end of 2015 to a beginning of 2016, and most of places just disappeared, and it was very sad. So, like lastly, this is the project called Hello, It's Me. So I did a couple different groups. So it was Hello It's Me is a collaborated multimedia project with older adults who live in especially gentrified in neighborhood in New York City. I work with people in Crown Heights and Bushwick and also Harlem. So first one, so this was three ladies who live in senior housing in Crown Heights, and this was a part of more art residency, and I was looking for somebody who live in senior housing and minority. So I went to this senior housing and spoke to a social worker. I proposed something like I wanted to do photo documentation of their activity process as a volunteer. And after that, if I make some good friendship with them, like I'm planning to do this project. Um, it's portrait and it's about I wanted to interview them, the audio recording interview. And so the social worker told me that it's going to be really good for them. So maybe I may try. So I started going there every week for I think it was like even twice a week for first a month and a half. And after that, I was going there once a week. And it's pretty much like probably like third or fourth week. Those people, the people who are taking the classes, they call me and they say, why don't you, sit down next to us and chat with us, just not taking photograph. So I sat down and then they started talk to me. So why you're here? And, I said, I'm an artist and then I wanted to create a portrait with you guys. And then if it's possible, I wanted to hear your story. I want to make your story about your life and I'm going to create the installation. And they had no idea what I wanted to do. They kind of like, oh, whatever. But yeah, what do you do? And, where you live, something. So I explained about myself and I said, because there were a lot of Caribbean people, also African American people. So I said my husband is Haitian. So, and they're immediately like very interested in. So what do you cook? You have a kid. So that's how we started to talk to each other. So I made a really good friendship, especially those three ladies. And one of them already expressed like very interested in us since the beginning because she told me she wanna leave the legacy behind because she was in a library, like her portrait is in a library where she came from. She from St. Lucia, and because of she has a great hospitality. So yeah, she wanna do it. So we took a picture of her first, and then those two ladies came by, say, "Wow, that's interesting, very easy. So let me join." So that's how it happened. So I have three ladies photograph, and I have an MP3 player, so people could hear their stories while they are looking at the picture. And I wanted to make it place is like a living room. This wallpaper is vintage wallpaper from 40s, and it's a time like they're born and they're young and they had I just imagine their living room setting. So I work with them, and yeah, I'm gonna just go, keep going. She actually passed away, so yeah, I hope she just enjoyed this experience. You know. So so this was a detail. So this is another installation from same series, Hello, It's Me. So this case, I was working with this Japanese American woman. She was 93 back then. And now this year, she just turned 96. And she was born in LA and she grew up in Skid Row. And she went to our internment camp during war. And her sister got a job in New York City. And they all wanted to come to New York. So the sister came to New York, moved to New York after internment camp. And So I personally got so fascinated about her because this history already, I was pretty amazed how she was positive about everything. I asked about her experience in interment camp, and she said everything, so beautiful. Because she said it was in Arizona, it was desert, it was so beautiful, morning and night, and she enjoyed. She was 17 at the time, and but she didn't have any bad experience there, and her idea, she always say, I don't care because I'm 93, and what do I have to care? But a very happy, like uplifting tone, and I really loved to talk to her. She had a like sense of humor and always like smiling and happy, and I was seeing her every week for year and a half. Sometime I went to her apartment. Sometime I met her in her classes, activity classes. Sometimes just had a coffee and donut. Uh, so this was an installation. I used her photograph, current photograph. Also, old photograph. I went through all her photo album at her home. So I scanned it and I recreate the images. I mean, I didn't do anything. I just cleaned up some old photograph, but they're all the great condition. So this is part of detail of installation. Her parents came from Okinawa actually, so it was like a tapestry of Okinawa. And she was young, I think like a 20s, and some detail wedding picture. She met this Japanese American guy in New York after she came to move to New York, and so those images actually, I used those frames. I picked up from the street. I picked up from thrift shop. I was collecting those frames, and sometimes I paint it, sometimes I use it. Just the way how it is. And this is a detail. She was 93 at the time. She looks great, and she still looks great. And we still stay in touch after that. This picture was taken in the internet. And this is like a very amazing picture because she was like 3 years old. So it means like almost 90 years old photograph. And it was very good condition. I was really impressed. She's a front and the second child from the left. So it's very interesting because she remembered the moment they took a picture because she lays up her leg a little bit, like the right one, because she feels something underneath of her back, on her back. So she just lifted up the moment the photographer took the picture. So I thought it was like a really interesting story that she still remembered the moment. And those stories, like I was really interested to, listen. It was very great. I also made yeah, this is like I shouldn't go so much detail, but this is very interesting photograph because they both, like she is on the boat, and where she going? She went to Japan back then, 2 weeks. She was like probably 7 or 8, and then the other one she was a teenager. She went to Japan back then, like it's so amazing. And even the name of the boat, Chichigumaru, she remembers very well. So that was like my personal, like very fascinated project I did. I think these are my previous work. So I am back right now. So from now, I think I'm gonna show 2 different projects that I have done with KODA. So I'm gonna go on share screen again. So a little bit explanation. So I started to do this interview project this summer to fall, and during residency I was pretty much editing those video, and I actually did one video work and the other is gonna be audio and the photograph. That's a combination of audio and the photograph, like my previous work. So the reason why I did this because this summer I was planning to do a Best Eye Social Photograph again because the beginning of this year, some of my neighbor, remind me that we gotta do this again. So I was very excited to do that. But then, COVID-19 pandemic, so I was not able to get together with a lot of people, cannot make any group anymore. And of course, no way to share props and everything changed. So, but I still want to work with my neighbors. And then, I was thinking, what can I do? And I realized that, I could still do something, interview with social distance on my stoop again, and the outdoor, this is perfect. And I invite 4 people who I knew already, and they are very important faces in my neighborhood. So I basically just asked them if we could do, and then we actually did it. But interesting things, like people got so nervous in front of video. So that's why I wanted to kind of switch to audio after I done, because sometimes they got kind of like get lost and they don't know what they are talking. And when we are asking questions, they started talk and rushing. So literally so far, like a few people were successful for video work, but I think some of them, I can probably not make video with that, but it was still fun.
My name is William Johnston.
So this is one like kind of straight interview video. It's over 5 minutes, so I make it short. Some parts it's gonna skip, so just remember that I just cut it, so it might sound some part strange, but we can take a look. This is about like 2 minutes.
I've been living here practically all my life. My grandmother lived on this block back in the 60s. I grew up without a father. My mother did, but she had 2 kids. Nice to think my mother was being mean, but she only taught me what she knew to bring me to this point where I'm at today. I'm still here, so it counts. In the 70s, economically it changed. There used to be more money and a lot of things back then compared to now. You have technology. The neighborhood changed because you have more immigration of people of different origins. I had 4 sons. I have 3 living. They're in North Dakota now. All of them, all my grandbabies, my sons here. Life is good. The jobs and everything took care of it. Oh, I get along with everybody. I know everybody. When I come outside, my aunt say, everybody. You stop and talk. Like George, God bless him. You know everybody out here. Of course, I'm out here. It's like with the parents and the kids. Your kids know everybody on the block, and the other people know you, but you don't know them, but they know your child. That's how they know you. And that's a good thing. So we like family. No, we are family. Let me say it correct. We are family. Because we still here seeing each other today. Times have changed, But I remember the good things and good times. I passed it on to my sons because they were raised around here. And we walked these streets together. I had my son here, and his diaper bag here. Yeah, that's how we did out here. My sons, we walked these streets. Sometimes Dad might have been broke. Dad, I said, we get to the park, you can get some water. Hey. And they loved me today. The son reminded me, he said, Dad, you remember you used to make us grilled cheese sandwiches for lunch? I said, yep, I still make them. See, that's what you like to hear from your kids when they get older. The things you put in them. And they throw it back at you like, wow.
So it was kind of good interview in general. He spoke about his family and life, about neighborhood, how it changed, and you know, probably he didn't expect it that much when I was doing. This happen all the time. Like why I love to work with people because they appreciate after that. When we are working together, they had no idea. But I always promise I'm gonna do a good job. I mean, I will try my best. And he actually, Bill, he really appreciate I did this. He shared with his son, and he told me he watched this every morning, and he loved his voice. Uh, you know, he didn't know. He said that he didn't know he had such a great voice, and he loves it. He's so proud, and I'm so glad I did it. So now this is like a shorter video. It's about 1 minute, a little over 1 minute. We love Pee-wee. So Pee-wee is our most, I would say, most important person on this blog, and well-known person. Everybody knows him, and he's loved by people. And funny thing is, he doesn't even live on this block. He lived like several blocks away. He lived in Crown Heights. Once he was in like a Columbia area in Manhattan, and then. But funny thing is, he comes to this building every day. Like he goes to work in the morning. Every morning around probably like 10, he's coming and say good morning, and he sits at the stoop. I don't know if it's like a snow day. I don't know what he's doing. Sometimes he doesn't come, but he has access to our next building. He used to work the building before, so I'm pretty sure he's still here. So I did it like a regular interview with him, but it's very funny that he was really shy. He didn't want to look at a camera, and he spoke so like quietly, and then I couldn't use any of those. So I decided to move to his building where he always sits, and I just record what he does over there. Yay, that's cute.
Fashion on your Jamaican bitch.
I'm not Jamaican. I'm Antigua.
What do you like it?
Antigua.
But you don't still love Guinea,
Red
yo.
stripe, huh?
You don't still love Guinea. Man, you my boy.
My stomach is straight. Keep me chilling.
Hey, mommy. Because I love you.
Okay, identities. So as I kind of mentioned, my husband is Haitian, and I'm Japanese, and our daughter, of course, she's biracial. And I was always interested in working with the multi or biracial subject, but I never thought about actually doing that. Also, to especially work with my daughter or my family. So I didn't really, think I would do that. But this pandemic kind of pushed me to do this because I had less people to work with, and I know who's safe and they're in my house. So I decided to work with my daughter. And the reason, I don't know why, but just because I'm from Japan. I was born and raised in Japan, and I came here like over 20 years ago. And I feel like I don't know so many things about Japan, honestly, and especially like a trend or culture. And my husband, he was born in Haiti, but he came to the States when he was probably like 7 or 8, and he settled in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, when he was 8. And since then, he grew up in Brooklyn. And he said that he's 100% Haitian. But I think it's a little bit about like, because he never visited Haiti after that. So, and then my daughter was born in New York and she's American. And then she doesn't live either country, Haiti or Japan. So she visits Japan, but she never been to Haiti. I never visited there, and my husband haven't been there for many years. So I just started to think about the people who grow up here and then share different culture and then live in the country. It's actually not their original like like national. How to say that? Yeah, their country. She never lived. So I'm still studying and try to figure out like why I wanted to do this. So please forgive me. Like I might not have a like a specific, like idea right now, but this is what I did. So this is so I did a front yard photo shoot. This is my backyard. So I set up the photo studio and a backyard. That's what I say, home studio. So everything done in an apartment. So this was a settings. I dress her up a little bit like a traditional Haitian, and this is a traditional Japanese outfit. I took a photograph to make a little contrast each other. So this is a Haitian version. And this is Japanese. And those kimono I wore when I was a kid. And so I create installation with this. So you see my, behind, this is an installation. I can show a little bit later. And so I display with my family photograph when I was a kid, or my mom, my husband William's picture with his family. And this is it's still like work in progress. I should be make this bigger than this size. I mean, like I have a more picture to scan. I have a more object to put it up on the wall too. But this moment for this residency, I create like this. So yeah, when I think this is when he was in Haiti. It's a picture and a very nice photograph. It always breaks my heart to see this object, souvenir from Haiti. Yeah, this is Japanese, like a traditional racket, like a plate, like a tennis or something. This is me when I was, I don't know, 3 years old or something. My daughter surprised I had a small eyes. This is a little detail of frames, like I painted or I made. This is his sisters. He has 4 sisters from direct family, and half sister and more half siblings all over the world. So the mask. That's my mom and dad. So it's kind of similar to the project I done for Hello It's Me. So my husband said 5 sisters from direct family. So I was wrong. So yeah, so yeah, that is my work.